more like stats from the past year, and said gym memberships hit 72.9 million, which I think is like either the highest or close to the highest it's been. But many are going for boutique studios, online platforms, or home gyms. So I guess memberships now count as online subs. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
So it's just that's what I'm guessing. I have to look into it a little. It was so long that I had to just like ask Gemini or ChatGPT to like give me the too long didn't read, because I will read it, but when I saw, I was like, oh boy, I can't do this right now. Yeah, so that was popular activities include walking, swimming, and
Cool.
gardening, while 80% of adolescents still miss physical activity guidelines. That's not good. That's bad because it's just going to be, aren't the young supposed to like inherit the earth? Us old people aren't supposed to be stronger. Like we're supposed to be weaker.
Well, there's more people now in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. They're in better shape than people in their 20s and teens. I
I
mean,
know. I
Yeah.
you
know.
just check it out. But
Look at us,
a
for example.
yeah, franchise gym in Long Island here said that their membership has been down 40% since COVID.
Wow.
Since?
Hmm.
Wow.
Man.
Well, I mean,
Never came back.
I think a lot of people made alternative arrangements, you know, during COVID. I mean, I put in a whole gym downstairs, because
Right. Me
couldn't
too.
go. And a lot of people now have put in their personal home gyms and they use them. They don't go to the gym anymore, or they go sporadically just for the camaraderie or whatever. I like going to the gym because I go at the same time every day and I got my boys. I got my crew there. We joke with each other. We bust on each other. It makes the workout, faster, better, whatever. It's nothing like it was at Gold's back in the day, but um, I think there's a certain social element that's motivating when you go to the gym versus train alone at home. And I think maybe there's a balance of that, but people's lifestyles are such that, wow, it's really convenient to train at home. I just got to go downstairs, So
I'm just not into
Yeah.
I can
the.
understand that stat.
But what I don't get is, and this is just maybe this is just me because like you said, John, maybe I'm just used to going somewhere and being active. I don't really understand the online subscriptions. That's I'm not the target audience for that. But for me, it's tough because if I'm going to do a class, I work at home, so I want to go out and
Right.
be somewhere
Right.
else, not at home. So it makes me feel different. So, but also, I guess I've just gotten so used to training, either by myself or with weights, that it definitely feels a little bit strange to me to follow along. And I've done it, but it never hooked me. But that's just me.
Come on, Zack, you can do it. Come
Right? Yeah,
on,
yeah,
Zack.
yeah.
1,
Exactly.
2. Have you ever done Peloton?
I've done similar ones to like that. Yeah, I've done yeah, I've done similar ones, and it's very, I don't know, man. I'm not into. It's tough for me to get into it. Like
Group
you can do
fitness.
it. I'm like, here's the thing. I do like some group fitness. Like there's a place in Manhattan I used to go, Trooper Fitness, and I loved it. It was tough. But it was. They had this balance of, we're not going to baby you, but we're also not going to be your cheerleader at the same time. So I liked that, and it was also, they were challenging classes that I took. I took a Metabot, like a Metcon class. Was it Metcon? Yeah, took a Metcon class, and I took some boot camp classes, and both were tough. So I really appreciated that. And I also took a spin class in person at this place called Swerve. It's now, I think COVID killed it, and or it's now digital or something. But that was fine. But again, when I tried it
You love
online, I just wasn't into it.
People don't realize that a lot of people don't realize they have regular jobs or whatever businesses since COVID. I mean, a friend of mine owned 6 restaurants. 6. He was on top of the world. He was doing great. COVID hit. 2 years paying rent on 6 places. He's now managing a restaurant
Wow.
and had to file Chapter 11. The guy had a huge house, cars, well, you name it, gone. Because
Wow.
think about it, 6 restaurants. Can you imagine the rent, the
No.
upkeep, the insurance, and everything of just keeping that going?
The,
You know,
the, the,
like,
the saddest part about that is he lost all of that based on bullshit,
yeah.
pure bullshit. And this, when people say, oh, it doesn't affect anybody. Bullshit, it doesn't affect anybody. It affects everybody. And the economy still has not recovered completely from COVID. So, and that was a
Economy sucks.
completely
I mean,
deliberate, that was a total deliberate, you know, action by the government based on supposition. And where'd the 6 foot rule come from? They made it up. Why not 5 feet? Why not 7? They just picked 6 out of thin
why
air, and then
12
we all had to
reps?
do that.
Yeah,
Right,
it's the
right.
even
Why
number though.
12
Why
Six.
not
reps?
11?
Exactly.
Why
Why not 11?
who came
Right?
who came up with the concept of why 12, 10, 8, 6, 4? Why
Who
10
came
sets of
up with
10?
any of this shit?
That's what I'm saying. Why do we have to have eggs for breakfast?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
why can't you have a ham? Why can't you have a corned beef sandwich for
Like I'm
breakfast? I mean,
saying. Why, why do we have
God,
to have
no, eggs
dessert
or
at the
pancakes.
Mhm.
why do we have to have dessert at the end of the meal? Who made up
Right.
these rules?
Yeah, I
My
don't like
mother
that
always
rule.
said, my mother always said, life is short. You eat dessert first.
Because if you have a major heart attack, at least you enjoy that
Yeah.
chocolate cake before you kick the bucket.
Yeah.
All right, some other things. Weight loss drugs, obviously, GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic have been dominating. Reshaping obesity management despite cost barriers. Plastic surgery, 24% of adults have had cosmetic procedures. And this is in the US, with liposuction leading. Do you think that's going to be, that surgery will diminish with more of the GLP-1 drugs? Or is it just now? Okay.
No, loose skin, right, John? Too loose
Yep.
skin.
Yep. Yep.
You look, the whole thing with the GLP and Ozempic and all those other drugs is that it's not muscle sparing. So,
Yeah.
Right.
you're basically, like I call them. They look like dandelions. The people, they're so skinny with like lollipops with this big head and this little body. You know what I mean? But if you're not training and you're not taking in a substantial amount of protein, your
Mhm.
skin's gonna get worse and worse. It's gonna be hanging off, and
Yeah.
and then if you take the easy way of taking one of these drugs and and you don't have a legitimate use for it, and you're like, oh well, I'm gonna now you know what? I'm not gonna train. I haven't trained anywhere. I lost this weight. I'm just gonna pop in for some liposuction. It's just
Right.
easier, you
Yeah,
know,
well,
just easier.
and it's more and it's instantly effective. I mean, it's you're done
Yeah.
right away. I mean, tomorrow you notice the difference. The I don't know, the thing with these quick fix options is that most of them don't work. The ones
Nope.
that do work have usually catastrophic side effects attached to them.
Mhm.
And of the small, tiny fraction of the ones that do work without the catastrophic side effects, they're either mildly effective or, you could take it or leave it. The thing with us, our industry, is that bodybuilding, fitness, whatever, is the first and probably only endeavor where we have decided to take drugs when we're not sick. So
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
no one else does that. Everyone else takes a drug because something's wrong with them. We're the only ones that take drugs because we want more right with us. And that just completely goes against everything that these drugs were designed to do. And that's why you have all these people on Ozempic now. What's going to happen to them is you're going to start seeing things, your reports start coming out about muscle wasting, like Frankie just said, you
Mhm.
know, poor metabolic function. There is going to be a blowback from this, because even if it's just the skin, when you take Ozempic, if you lose 100 pounds on Ozempic, your skin is going to wave to the jets as they fly by. It's just going to,
You could be like flubber. Remember
right.
we call it flubber.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're going to be flubber, and
Yeah.
there's no fixing that, unless
So that was what I was going to ask. Can you fix
Uh,
that, or is there a surgery for it? Is there
Oh yeah.
something? I
They
mean,
cut the skin
yep.
oof.
and then they pull it back. I mean, I watched so many
Oh,
episodes of Botched. Like
oh,
they pull the skin and then they sew and they have drains in there. It's
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it
yeah,
looks
yeah.
extremely painful.
I saw it when I don't know who was getting what done. I was in a plastic surgeon's office. Let's just put it that way. I
what
was in a
happened to your
plastic
camera? Your
surgeon's
camera just jumped. Your camera
What?
just jumped. Yeah, look, see where you, what happened to it? There we go. I was
Were you,
like,
were you get were you getting a ball lift, John? Were you in a plastic surgeon getting a nut lift?
Yeah, my nut shrunk.
They-
Oh man, why won't this go back?
that's all right.
You're all right. You're good.
And
Oh,
Nico, I saw the
lower
question.
my seat.
I will bring it up. I promise, because I didn't know about this.
Don't forget about that shake question from the other day.
Oh, that's
The girl
right.
had the shakes.
Yeah.
Look, you know what's funny? There was a woman on the Stairmaster at the gym, and she was talking to her friend, and there was a guy training, and he was a big dude, like, probably about 255, 260, 5'11", like good bodybuilder, right? And she said to him, she goes, "Oh, I only like natural guys. I'm into like natural, right? The girl's lips, you can lick them and stick her to the wall. You know what I mean? Her face had not one wrinkle in it. She had breast implants. She looked like she had a butt implant. The fake eyelashes,
Oh,
extensions, and I'm like,
Tattooed
what?
eyebrows.
And the first thing I thought was John's thing. What constitutes natural? Like that's still in my mind. What is natural?
yeah.
You know,
Oh
I
man.
mean, what is natural? I don't know. And I'm not knocking her for any of those things. And I'm not knocking that guy for anything. You do what you want to do. But I'm like,
Right.
how is he not natural? But how is she natural? I don't know.
Well, I don't think she's not natural, but I think she thinks that what she's doing cosmetically is okay because it's
Right.
cosmetic, right? So, versus even though, taking drugs to get big as a bodybuilder is kind of cosmetic too, but you have an ulterior motive. You
Sure.
want to be a bodybuilder. So, that natural thing is sort of nebulous, is very nebulous, especially when it comes from someone who thinks they have, the answer. Oh, it's okay to have,
Yeah.
filler in my lips, my chin, my cheeks, my hair's
Yeah.
extensions, blah, 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 all of that shit they consider cosmetic. And so it's okay. But, you take 1,000 milligrams of test a week and,
Ooh,
it's
you're shunned. You're shunned. And I always laugh like when these people have babies and like, doesn't he or she look like me? And I'm like, no.
Can I see the
What do you look
milkman?
like? It's like
Milkman
some
look
people
like?
just go too far, man.
Yeah.
But look, people take steroids for spring break.
Yeah.
They don't want to be
Yeah.
bodybuilders. They just want to, and I'm sure
Mhm.
like Ozempic is the same way. People going to weddings, they're going to high school
Yeah.
reunions and stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
definitely. I mean, I personally know people that do that. They plan around it. I don't know if they stay on it. That's the thing. And like you said, a lot of these folks aren't like really big people. They're just not in the type of condition that they want to be in. So rather than spend the months or spend the time doing the work, they find this to be the quick fix. And yeah, that's the thing. But when you don't change your lifestyle and you stop it, things are just going to go, they're going to rebound and you're going to be right back where you were.
Then there's the people who want you to believe that they have some kind of glandular, metabolic, hereditary situation where I can eat 400 calories a day and I still gain weight. I'm like, you know what?
Dude,
Spend the
yeah.
summer in Auschwitz and then tell me you can't lose weight.
Oh, this
There was a hot yoga instructor back about 15 years ago, and he was awesome. And he would go on these like rants like John in the middle of this class, and like he'd be like, "Well, if everybody comes here, it's spiritual, it's physical, it's mental." But you people have to learn how to shut your mouth and stop eating all this processed food and this garbage. And you're wondering why you're wearing a long shirt to cover yourself. And there's one woman pipe. She goes, "I happen to have an eating disorder." He's like, "Yeah, it's called the seafood diet. Everything you see, you eat." Like he was like, I was like,
Jesus.
fast forward 8 months later, that place was for sale.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn,
Uh,
man, like you would never in today's climate, you would never have that.
no,
Never.
and what happens is the problem stems from the fact that unlike everything else that can be bad, you have to eat. So
Yeah.
you have to eat. So it's not like drinking alcohol. Well, you don't have to drink alcohol. You can stop anytime you want. You can stop smoking weed. You can
Choose to.
stop. You
Yeah,
right.
exactly. I partake
But
in that.
but you can't decide that okay, I'm going to quit eating. It doesn't work.
No,
So
I think that
so
would be
you know
rough.
because you have to eat. People come up with all of these. I have a metabolic condition. I have an eating disorder. I have a glandular issue. Yeah, it's called the saliva gland. You can't keep you can't stop salivating over that pizza in the window. So
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to. So
Just want to chime in and say, what's up, Donald, man? Thanks for the comment. I can't respond on Twitter, so I just want to say thanks. I definitely see it. And yeah, he
we
was
gotta
talking about,
fix that, man. We have to come to some.
I just keep saying it out
You
loud,
need
hoping it'll
$14 a month.
magically. Yeah, that's it. I think that's
Is
it.
that what
dude.
it comes down to? Honestly,
Probably. I mean, listen, I
Why
don't
don't
really
we ask
know.
your
But
wife for the money? Should we
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
Jack
exactly.
John's wife for the money?
oh, she'd never invest in something like this.
Oh,
She's
shit.
way too smart.
$14. Come on.
All right.
I
So
saw
this,
Roger Lockridge put up some scathing post about not getting paid.
oh,
Who did?
really?
I don't
Oh, I
know who
didn't
it was
see that.
directed to, what companies, but it's up there.
I don't know. I wonder who that would be. We could take a deep dive, Frank. We'll deep dive it.
Deep dish. Do you know, it's interesting. Like I always say, look, 99% of this whole thing is genetics. And like for right around the Olympia, whatever, I started eating whatever I wanted. I think I weighed in on the scale they were doing at the Olympia, weighing people, and I was 249 with clothes. And I'm like, you know what? I got to get back in shape. We're doing all these events and everything else. And I'm like, let me just write down what I eat in a day. Because I have no idea. I mean, my diet's 80% decent and 20% sugar, you know? So I'm like, let me write down what I ate. So I cleaned up my diet, went back to what I was doing for the calendar for that shoot. And I went I was 246 on Sunday. And this morning I weighed in at 233. So how many days is that? 4? So
Yeah.
my goal after 30 days was 230. I'm 233.
You
But
passed.
writing down everything,
Yeah.
I realized I'm eating 150 grams of protein and 126 carbs and moderate fats on a daily basis. And I have no problem with that. And I'm
Hmm.
like, how the hell as a bodybuilder did I eat 500 grams of protein a day? Because it's hard for me to eat 200 grams of protein a day. And that's with 2 plant protein shakes.
Wow.
Good Lord.
I don't
Also, it's
like
a lot
Jimmy
of
the Bull.
don'ts.
He has like, Jimmy the Bull is probably about 50 grams of protein a day.
If
And I was
that.
like shocked.
Wait,
Yeah, so
how many grams of protein in a hot dog?
I'm forcing myself to go
That's
200,
all you need,
200.
hot
So
dog.
now I'm migrating for 200 protein, 200 carbs right now.
That's
So
all.
that's what I'm
All
trying to
right.
do right now. So
That's
it's
really not a
crazy.
tremendous amount of food.
No,
200, 200 times 800 calories in each. It's only 1,600 calories. Are you going to get
plus
the rest
moderate
from
fats,
fat? Yeah.
avocado, peanuts, whatever. But yeah, I was like,
Right.
wow, I really start eating. But
What?
Zach
What?
I
called me
mean,
fat during the shoot. Zach called me fat during the shoot, so I was like, I
Oh
gotta
wow.
sounds
get
like
at it
me. That
again.
sounds like something I would say. 'Cause no, Frank was like, oh, I'm feeling big, and I'm looking at him. And I'm like, well, you look big, but you look like big, like muscular big. Like he's filling out his shirt. I don't think
Right.
It's not like I'm looking at him like, dude, what are you doing, man? You got to cut back on something. Like not at all, but I also get it.
I,
Look, you're used to seeing or you have an idea in mind what you want to look like, and if you're not there, I get. But that's also the difference, and I think so. It's genetics, but it's also to have self discipline and to
yeah,
keep doing it and to go back and do it and not just think about it. It's kind of like this Twitter thing, right? Like if most people treat this Twitter thing like they treat the gym. They just complain about it and they don't actually go figure out what to do. But like I do that here with this thing, but in the gym, like today, I was telling John, I think I'm going to run outside today barefoot, just to see, maybe get used to that a little bit, just to try to see, put a ruck on, do some running, see how my feet adapt. But that's, I don't know. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
want to do that. They just think about doing it. So that's the difference between people that are serious about achieving a goal or getting like a specific physique, and those who just, take drugs and think it's just going to magically
think
happen.
when you get to a certain age, you're like, it's very easy. If John and I wanted to get muscular, if I wanted to be 270, 280, we know the recipe, but it's a
Right.
disaster because look, there's no people over the age of this. So when people go, yo, bro, you look big, I don't want to be big. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'd rather be,
Right.
you look like, an underwear model or something, vain, like with abs. I don't know, something like that. But now I, I had the, doing all this weight.
Jimmy the Bull's calling him.
Yeah, you heard the hot dog comment.
Fucking
The hot dog cart. But there he is.
There he is.
you get caught up in this, it does. It's
Yeah.
especially when you're surrounded by bodybuilders at the gym.
Of
Yeah.
course.
You
I
get
mean, well,
caught
that's
up,
the
and
other
it's not a
thing.
healthy thing.
Where you train, dude, where you train,
No.
there's people that are probably in consistent, like amazing shape. So when you feel like you're not where you want to be, I would fall into that category a lot. I'd be like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? And then, but you said it's not healthy to think
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I don't know. I just like I'd rather be on the lean side. So that's what's we're on. Zach and I are going to the Miami Beach Fitness Festival.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
Miami
Yes.
Beach. I
That's
love
January.
right.
Miami. I love
That's right.
Miami more than anything. I love that place.
Oh yeah. No, we're
So
gonna.
when is that? When you guys get to go?
I don't know.
23rd of January, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, 23rd of Jan. Yeah, that's the. We're gonna be there. I'm wearing my newest thong or speedo. I'm not sure which yet.
I was just gonna
Borat.
say the
No,
same
that
thing. I was
Borat
gonna
shirt
say,
you
and
have.
you're gonna thong it.
Yeah, no, the
You
Borat
know
shirt.
what?
Oh my God, that
You
was
won't
so
get a
funny.
second look in Miami. If you're
I
wearing a
know.
thong, they don't care. They
No,
don't
I
care.
know.
They
You
wear it
could
to
No.
the
walk right.
gym.
You could walk right down Ocean Avenue, past
Yeah.
all those restaurants of people eating outside with your ass hanging out, and no one will even notice. It
Nope.
is so common down there; it's ridiculous.
Perfect.
I'm gonna wear
I'll fit in.
dinosaur slippers and a thong. Yeah.
Oh
There you
You
yeah,
know
go.
I
what?
like it. All
What?
right, I'll
Hey,
get to Nico's question here. Nico's question is, what do you think of the fit model division that was announced yesterday? For those who don't know, I had to look it up because I didn't know. The criteria for judging fit model physiques is condition, symmetry and balance, presentation, posing, muscularity. It emphasizes the balanced physique with a foundation of muscle, but less than bikini competitors.
so now we
Yeah,
have
John.
12 divisions.
Yeah, that
Here,
seems like
here,
it.
Frank, I want to know. Hear you as a competitor. I want to hear your opinion on this.
So
Wait. I just
look.
want you to look at it from this perspective.
Uh,
It's too much, right? I don't care that they have that division. They can have one wheeled wheelchair for all I care. What I think they need to do now is that we are at a dozen divisions. I think they need to institute a rule where the promoter gets to pick X number of divisions, and that's it. You can't do them all because the Nationals last weekend, the bikini girls were on, and it was ready to start the night show. Now you're going to stick another division in there? I mean, it's way, way, way too much, and the promoters are getting way too greedy. So someone's got to step in and put a limit on this shit. Otherwise, we're going to have 50 divisions to do in one weekend. It's impossible. You can't do it.
But okay, let me
So,
take.
back to my question to Frank. As
Oh
a
yeah.
competitor, do you want to see this shit? Do you want to wait backstage for yet another division to go through prejudging and then their routines and the night show? I mean, do you want to do that?
I mean, look, the only division, I mean, bodybuilding, going on, doing your thing, especially in the the pro league or what have you, the open Olympia vision stuff, divisions. it's going to be, like you don't want to wait any longer than you have to. But the way that they're breaking up the shows right now, the universe is a couple of days. All the national shows are multiple days now, where they do the women first and they do the men on separate days. So I see it from a competitor. I mean, if I was in any division, I'd want to be first, done, and out. But from a business standpoint, I mean, they're basing it on Ashley Kaltwasser in her first Olympia win. That's the criteria for the division. Now, it's a business. It's going to bring more money in. It's going to
That's
open up the doors. Will it bring more mainstream things in? Maybe. But we're not too far from bringing the fit guy division in there either, are we? Because that's going to be the next migration. Because the men's physique guys, when Mark Anthony was winning it, is totally different than what it is now. So we're
right.
going to bring that division. So there'll be 13 divisions. And then so you have 13 divisions, and who knows what's next? And is it going to be a men's? I doubt there's going to be a men's fitness or bring back couples. So from a business standpoint, you want to make money. In any business, you want to make money. How do you get more people, more eyes on it? You bring in like the old movie with Rodney Dangerfield, the regular guy look, the regular girl look. You bring them in, you put them in. But from a promoter's perspective, some of these promoters don't have a ton of people in their shows. They don't. So this is going to help bolster their, money and revenue, whatever. But as far as the national shows, they're all broken into multiple days. And I can't imagine that based on how long it's going to take, if you had 50 to 100 girls, you're looking at another hour. So they're going to have to put that on another day.
So wait,
But
so is this fit model division men and women, or just men, or
no,
just women?
just women.
Just
Just
women.
Just
women. But
women.
don't you think that the next
It should be,
evolution's going to
yes,
be the guy? Yeah, I mean, or
absolutely.
the
So
beach
now,
body, guy beach body?
There's the. I just put the link in the chat for anybody who wants it. Yeah, because I didn't even
We're
know about it until Nico told me about it. Thanks, Nico.
but as a business, let's say I made bagels, all right, and I have a bagel store, and I can make all
I'm
out.
in.
I
I
can make
like.
1,000 bagels a day, and I can
hmm
fit and I can fit 500 people in my store. Eh, That's the max. I can't fit any more people in the store for the hours that I'm open. I can't produce any more bagels. So somebody comes up and say, "Hey, you should start making chocolate chip cookies." And I'm like, "Oh, great idea. I'm going to make chocolate chip cookies." And then now what? Where am I going to bake them? Where are the people going to fit? How am I going to get these out? I don't have any shelf space for it. So what do you got to do? You either have to open another store, or you have to limit the number of bagels you make to make room for the chocolate chip cookies. Okay, so you physically cannot stuff all of that shit into one day or 2 days or whatever. It's too much. The audience doesn't like it. The competitors don't like it. The only people that like it are the promoters that get the money. That's it. No one else likes it. So,
but when you go to a show, there's 12 divisions, right? So how many of the other divisions like any of the other divisions? You think the parents of the bikini competitors want to sit there and watch bodybuilding?
no.
That doesn't make any sense. So I
But
mean, but they leave as soon if you go to the nationals or universe, they bring
Yeah.
them in different times, and that whole audience walks out, and then a new audience comes in. So I
well,
hear what you're saying, but
that's
I think you're
new.
talking more on a national qualifier level. But if you go to the universe, it's 4 days, and uh, the collegiate nationals, all that stuff. They're multiple days. So the women come on bikini 9 to 12, then figures 1 to 2, 1 to 3. So it is scheduled where it's like it's clockwork. But I think you're talking about maybe it's like a national qualifier where you have two, like three, four, 500 people there.
Right.
Then it has to be spread on 2 days. But I don't know how much time this is going to take. Like they're not doing routines, so they're walking on, they're walking off, they're walking on. So I don't know,
But,
and how many
but
people
here,
are going
but
to do it.
here, excuse me. The problem with that is, and what you just said is new. Normally, they keep you. They'll bring out the first group, then they'll do their whatever, and then they put them back, and then they're going to come out later for the comparisons, and then they're going to come out later again for their routines, and then what ultimately happens is that the promoters are forcing the audience to stay in their seats because they're going to miss the group they came to see. Whereas if they just said, okay, we're going to do figure, it's going to start at 9 a.m. It's going to be done at 10. Then we're going to do physique, and then we're going to do men's bikini or whatever. At least give the audience a time frame that they can show up, watch their thing, and leave, rather than force them to stay because I want to see the men's bodybuilding. Well, they bring them out first, and then you got to wait for 12 divisions to go through so you can see the men's finals. That is
Yeah.
totally unfair to the public. It's just not fair. So
If you go into the NPC, there's maybe for shows I've been 3 or 4 women's bodybuilders, if
Yeah.
that, in a whole show on a national qualifier. Maybe just 3. And fitness, maybe there's 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So those divisions on an
right,
amateur level, going watching, they're so scarce. So I mean, I could see your point if those divisions were packed. And women's physique's not a big division either on the
no,
amateur level because
No.
let's face it, they're doing bikini, figure. A lot of people, when classic physique started, they were like, "Who the hell's gonna do that?" Now, oh my God, it's one of the most popular divisions there are. But I hear what you're saying, but we're going off like the Olympia, like, oh man, we had to wait, the bodybuilders had to wait all this time and everything else. They're gonna have to structure it different with this new division if it's a powerhouse, but I can't see it being, or they're gonna have to invite a certain amount, John, for these bigger shows. Like invite 5 or like 8 people or 10 people in that so they could time it. But they can't have 50, I hear what you're saying, 50 more competitors at a 2-day show
right,
like that. But
right.
at a national level, it's cool. On an amateur level, it's fine for the NPC. But on IFBB, they're gonna have to strategically do that. But not every IFBB Pro League show has every division in it.
Hold on.
No,
Let
they
me,
So
don't. And,
hold on.
that's
John,
go
let me
ahead,
ask a
Zach.
question though, because Spillage Village has a question, and I think this ties right in. Can the promoters pick what divisions are offered at their
yes,
shows? Okay, so like
Yeah.
that was one thing I wanted to know too, is so they can opt out of specific. Because I mean, why would they want to have
Look at
ones
the
in there
Arnold.
where no? Okay,
it
yeah, that's true.
it depends on how greedy they are. It's what it comes down to is greed. How many what do you call it, entry fees can I amass in one day? That's what it comes down to. So
It's
let's
not.
put
That's not how it works. It's you got to pay a fee in order to have a show. And the more divisions you have, the more fee, the more prize money you have to
yeah,
give
but the
out.
more the
So it's
more
not
the
about being greedy because
I
let me tell you
disagree.
something. You can lose your arm and leg at these shows because even just renting out a spot in this area, you could spend $20,000, $30,000, put another 30, 40,000 in prize money. Where are you getting that $60,000?
No,
If
no,
there's
no.
$500 to
But Frankie, that's a pro show. I'm talking about the amateur, all the way up to the nationals in the USA.
well,
The nationals had 1,500 people in it. Now you're going to add another 2 divisions. I mean, it's fucking nuts. But what they need to do is they need to make the promoter pick what divisions do I want to put on. Some areas of the country favor some, more, bikinis than other areas of the country favor more fitness, whatever. You've got to factor in the long run, the long game. What's the long game? Am I going to be here? Okay, I'm a regional promoter. I got 17 people in the show. That doesn't matter. But when you get 5, 6, 700, 1,000, 1,500 people, competitors coming in on a 2-day event, that is
but
absolutely
they're
catastrophically
not
fucked up.
they're not 2-day events anymore, though. That's what I'm saying. That Universe is the most popular. They have 1,400 people. It's multiple days. The Teen Collegiate Masters Nationals is 4 or 5 days. The North American is 4 or 5 days. But also, there are amateur shows. I hear what you're saying, where they're just qualifying masters and stuff. They're
Right.
not in these shows, so maybe they have other pro qualifiers where they're going to compete. Maybe there's only 2 or 3 to start with. I don't know, but they're just going to tag this on to another day on the big shows because how do you have a pro qualifier without having this division in it? And
Right.
it's not going to make a big difference. It's a pin in the ocean because it's going to be, even if it's 300 girls, 200 girls, it's going to be on the separate days of those shows. But I hear what you're saying on a national qualifier. If you have every single division and they're stacked, then you're going to be sitting there for a while because it's a 1-day show.
Right.
Mhm.
That I, that I see what you're saying, but as far as the pro qualifiers, like the Nationals, the USA, the Universe, the Team Collegiate Masters, the North American, those are all multi-day events now
Well,
where they
that's
have.
new. What that
No, it's been for a couple of years now because I know
yeah, but I mean,
Bruce.
that's still relatively new. But I mean, they had to do it. I think these things should be. If you want to put on all of these divisions, once they got to set a ceiling, 5, 6, whatever division, however many you think you want to do. There should be a limit at that. If you want to do more than that, okay, then you got to create a festival. It's got to be a week long. You got to have all this shit going on because you physically, it's like the bagel shop. You can't fit the people in the building. You can't make that many bagels. So you've got to spread it out. You either need another venue, another day, another city, something that spreads it out a little more so that the audience is not chained to the seats waiting to see their event that they came to see.
Well, I would tell you, I would say if it was a bad idea, I'd be the first person to say it was a bad idea. But honestly, they should throw 5 or 6 more divisions in there. Honestly, if they do it on separate days, because some of these shows don't have a lot of competitors. We're focused on the ones that are ultra successful. So if someone's a small level promoter and they have
Mm-hmm.
like 70 to 80 people in their show, now they have the opportunity to get 100, 120 to make money, then absolutely do it. But the pro qualifiers are done on separate days. They can also do them on other days. Now let's talk about NPC Worldwide. This is going to be worldwide. So
Right,
now you're gonna have all the people from the international who are qualifying for pro status coming here. You're gonna have the amateur Arnold. Are they, the amateur Arnold, the amateur Olympia in Vegas, right? So they're
right,
gonna have that too. They had
right,
700,
right.
like 700, 800 competitors there. Now it cups it up to 1,000. I mean, look, man, everything is more expensive, but I see what you're saying. They have to manage the time of it, and I'm sure they'll figure it out. But I don't see. I see a men's division coming soon too.
Absolutely.
How
Yeah,
could you not? And
but
that's what
my
Right.
Zach and
thing,
I are going to do. The regular guy.
the regular guy. But
Exactly.
isn't it kind of like as these divisions evolve and they get bigger and harder, they're finding ways to bring more like I don't even know how to say regular people that still train hard in, right? Because that's kind of what this is doing, isn't it? It's if it's a step below bikini. Wasn't bikini brought in to be what you did before figure, and now figure is almost like a women's
Bodybuilding.
bodybuilding in a sense. Yeah. So like that's I feel like that's kind of what happens. They just kind of layer. They keep creating layers so more people can get
Evolves.
involved. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it keeps evolving. Like when Ashley Cole first started, now look at what it is now. And like when you look back at bodybuilding, look at Rachel McClish, and then it
Hmm.
went to Linda Murray,
Yep.
and Iris Kyle. Like it went from Mark Anthony to Aaron Banks and Ryan Terry. Like it evolves. So I don't know. Like I don't know. How is this going to be different from the natural division, or is this part of this? Is this to help bolster the natural division?
Oh, I don't
Think
know.
about that. And anybody think about maybe that's going to help bolster the natural division, but they have to stay in their lane. If that's the criteria, they have to stay there
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yes.
you can't keep jumping from
Either that,
from men's physique to class. I don't know.
either that, or they need to group the divisions on similarity. So you can have bikini, fitness model, maybe up to figure, and then that's a different day, a different event, a different venue. Then you can do women's, classic physique, women's physique, bodybuilding, 212. You can focus, I guess, based on how hardcore you want to get. You can do the milder stuff, the medium stuff, and then the ultra hardcore, extreme stuff. Split it up. You'll still attract I hear what you're saying about a regional guy who's got 80 people in the show and now he can get 120. That's fine, but if you play that forward and now you're at a multi-day, multi-venue, you know, multi-hassle event that you got to encompass 15 divisions to make everybody happy because that's where you started. So you got to play it forward. If you're gonna institute this division, play it forward. What does that look like on the national level, on the pro level? How do you get there? How do you fit these people into the venue?
It's got to be
You
done on
can't.
multiple days. That
Yes.
the only way it can be planned is multiple days like they have currently for the national pro qualifiers. They have to have it on multiple days, and they have to have it in. They have to create a new show for it too, a new pro qualifier. Maybe they do that. Maybe they open up 3 new pro qualifiers just for that. You don't know, but
But
there's
but then
solution.
the promoter's got to rent the venue another day, so there's another 20 grand he adds to his package. He's got to have the union
No,
guys, the electrician, all of this shit. If you rent the place for one day, that's why they do this. They rent the place for one day. They push 1,500 competitors through when they
but
should have
it's
done it
not
on
on one
3 days.
day anymore. Those shows are multiple days. Steve's show is
Dude,
now like 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 years ago, the Nationals had 1,500 people and it was one day. I was
The
there.
Nationals, the Nationals, yeah, the other shows are 3 to 4 days. I'm sure they just moved it to Dallas, the Nationals too. I'm sure
Right.
they're gonna put it on different days, but for the majority of them, think about it. All you have to
Yeah.
do is schedule it on a day. But the natural shows, right? We're coming in with all these new natural shows. What a great idea to put this natural look in these natural shows. So who's to say that maybe they won't be part of this, the Nationals of USA? Maybe it'll be a separate natural, in the natural division.
That's what I'm
Because
saying. That's what I'm saying is
maybe
you gotta split it up.
you don't
But
know.
when you split it up, then the promoter is faced with you want one day, fine. You want 2 days, that doubles the money he's got to spend to put the show on. 3 days, that triples the money he's got to spend to put the thing on. So there's got to be a convergent point where it's no longer economically feasible to force that many people into the same space. Okay, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. We're gonna have a week-long fitness festival now, like the Arnold, to get the nationals done. So it's too much. They have to split it up. And I would say, look, I would love to be able to go to a city like Miami or San Diego or so Chicago, some cool
Of
city,
course.
and you got to spend 4 days there. It's a fitness festival. Everybody, it's like the Olympia or the Arnold, but it's on a smaller
But
level. But you cannot keep adding these divisions and not expand the number of days the show encompasses. You can't do it.
they have done it, and it's like, look, if you're in a bikini, whatever, and you go on Wednesday morning, and you're doing prejudging Wednesday night's the finals, you're out of there. It's one day,
That would
and
be
then Thursday
wonderful,
you
but
come in.
that's new
That's how it works now. That's the
now,
that
right?
except for the Nationals for the last couple of years, that's been going on for the universe and what have you. But look, maybe there's a solution to all this. Like we look at the Olympia, Zach, right? And you're like, everybody's like, okay, this is way too long,
Hmm.
right? It's way too long, especially for the bodybuilders. The solution is to cut each division down to an invite or 15 people. How
Hmm.
fast would
There
that
you
show?
go.
How would that go? That would be amazing. Like, there's a solution to this. It's not a problem. They could add multiple divisions. It's just about timing, like you said, and putting it on certain things. But yeah, if it's a 1 day event and they have 1,500 people, they're gonna have issues. But I'm sure they won't put it. I'm sure it'll be scheduled different. But um, think about that. Like, what are we gonna do? Like all these bodybuilders that are coming on now, and they're like, they want to be on first, they want to get home, they want to be off stage first, but they're the biggest draw. What do you do
Yeah.
there? I mean, it's just about. It's like being a GM of the Jets and stuff. You gotta make some hard decisions here, and like
Well, I mean,
for
if the promoter is maxed out and his capacity to put on divisions, now you got two more divisions you want to add to that, so he's got to go to another day.
yeah.
Does the expense accrued over another day equal? It's got to be better than the amount of entries they got, or it's not worth it. It's a bad business decision. So, does multiple days creates multiple costs? Are the multiple costs offset by the multiple competitors? That's what you got to weigh out. And I don't see, at least in the immediate position, that adding this fitness division is going to make it feasible economically for the promoter to add another day. It's a huge expense adding another day, especially in a city like Miami or Chicago or New York.
But
So,
nobody's at. But I keep saying nobody's adding a day. The only other show is the Nationals. They moved it to Dallas. I don't know what they're doing, but every other Nat Pro qualifier is multiple
well,
days
that's,
already.
that's what
They
I'm
just
saying.
have to put those. But there's going to be it's already set up that way. They
Yeah.
just have to say, okay, the new division is from, this end. The figure ends at 3. They're on from 4 to 6. There's no problem with for the bigger shows,
I wish
for
they
the
would
bigger
do that.
profiles.
I wish the day would start 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock is figure, 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock is men's physique, and then done,
That's what I'm
done.
telling
Go
you. That's
home.
what they do. It's already been done for the last couple of years. They do it for the universe. They do it for the collegiates. They do it for all those shows. I don't know about the nationals, the Dallas show. I don't know if it's 1 or 2 days, but the other shows are 3, 4, 5 days long.
Well, that's
Look at
brand
the
new.
teen collegiate masters nationals, like Gary Udit. That thing is like 4 days. It's multiple days and it's timed where they do prejudging finals. It's same thing with the universe. There's no problem. They could easily add that on it. But John, you're going to see a whole new bunch of natural division. Now, if they add this natural division into this, then you have every single natural division. That'll be a problem because you have to sit through figure, fitness. You have to sit through body, natural body. I mean, they can't. That's then you got to. You can't hold a completely other show with another show. You're gonna have to move that to
Yeah,
a
absolutely,
complete day.
absolutely. Yep.
And that
Nat,
because that's 11 divisions, right? Of
well,
natural.
but here's what's going to happen. The promoter is going to look at, oh, there's so few people go to the natural. I'm just going to tag it on to what we already got going. I'm not going to rent
Could be.
another venue and play another day and hire all these people, staff, union, rent. All of that shit adds up. And the natural division is not going to encompass that many people. I know what they're going to do. At least in the beginning, they're going to add it on. And it's going to be another nightmare for the audience and the competitors because they got to wait and wait and wait and wait. Just like the Olympia. Remember all the guys waiting backstage? It's going to be the same thing. And that's torture. That's absolute torture.
That's
I got a
if they do
question,
it.
Frank.
Go ahead, Zach.
Did you mention that there was a couples division at one point?
There was, yeah, there was.
So wait,
Tony
what was
Pearson. What was it, John? Tony Pearson and who?
Oh, I remember I remember
Laura
Lee Priest.
Cavell.
Oh, Laura Cavell. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Tony Pearson.
remember
Yeah.
Lee Priest was with his mom. Do you remember
I
that?
didn't know that.
No,
Oh,
Lee
that's
Priest
cool.
did
I didn't know
couples
that.
with his mom. Yeah. His mom
So
was
like,
a
what
bodybuilder.
was it like? I'm trying to think of like, what did you do? Like, did you pose together? Like, was it like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
routine?
You-
Like,
you post-
oh
yep,
wow,
yep. You post together.
man,
Diana Roberts.
I did not know
Diana
that.
Roberts. Right?
God,
Was
you're
that one
picking these
Diana?
names out of history, man. I can't.
I
I haven't heard that name in 30 years.
I can't remember what I ate for breakfast an hour ago, but I'm pulling out Diana Roberts. There's Diana Roberts and Barry DeMay and Tony Pearson, and because Tony Pearson and Barry DeMay did the Miami Vice ad in the old Flex magazine and
Oh
stuff. It
my
was
God,
awesome.
that's right. They did. I remember that. Wow.
Crockett and Tubbs.
Yep.
But yeah, there was.
Man, I did not know that. I thought you were kind of just throwing it out there as a, I don't even know, as
No.
an aside, as a joke. But I'm
No.
just trying to think. So how did this? Can you break down for me how it worked? Like you,
Zack, you in 2 seconds you could find a video on it. I mean,
but I can't look it up right now. I mean, I guess I could, but I'm
So,
trying to.
you could.
You and Erica would do a synchronized
Yeah.
Okay.
posing routine together.
Okay.
To some music. It would be, almost like a figure skating. It would be, part.
That's okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
From a
It's
team.
a good analogy, Frank. That's exactly what it's like.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how they judged it. I guess they obviously judged the physiques, but but the posing was a whole other thing. I
Wow.
think Kai Green didn't Kai Green do with Eris Kyle for like a posing for a guest posing or something.
That sounds familiar. They may have.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, I remember watching some of it. It was a beautiful thing to watch. I mean, it was very well choreographed. It was a nice display of, muscularity and fitness. But I went by the wayside. It doesn't seem to happen anymore. It seems like now we add divisions and we keep them no matter what. Versus back in the day.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like being in a religion where you can't get divorced. You have to stay no matter what.
They murder them. They just murder.
Just murder them.
You know what would be a great division? Hear me out on this one. uh, pets. So you come out with your pet on, on the leash
Yeah,
side. Yeah, that's it. You and your dog.
I
You bring
like
out your
this.
dog. That'd be awesome. Open up to your dog. You
And it'll
call
be
it
funny.
the leash division. You walk
Well,
out
the
with your
dogs
dog.
would be really obedient and stay by, but the cats are going to wander all over the
Yeah,
venue.
or the squirrels or the raccoons.
The
Yeah, that's
squirrels.
what I'm bringing. I'm going for it. I'm
The
gonna go
ferret.
exotic. You bring a tiger or a bear.
Right.
Yeah, man. Like a Russian bear, like the giant bear. That'd be awesome.
I'm trying. So
Uh,
Randy Dean, I'm Randy Dean. It says I can pay women's physique, and I feel a little bit little. We're getting etched out. I asked you in the. I don't really know what you mean by etched out. Do you mean there's really nowhere for you to fit in? You feel like you're not. I don't really understand what that means, but if you could explain it, I'm just curious.
Look, some of the bigger pro shows don't have women's physique in it.
Okay.
You know, they don't
Oh, that's
have it
what you
as a
mean. Okay.
category.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I believe the look at the Arnold, right? The Arnold doesn't have. I don't think the Arnold has women's physique. So
Women,
some of the bigger
Arnold doesn't have
shows,
women. It doesn't have women's bodybuilding.
Right.
no. So you know, so that's what she meant by that. I guess you know
Right.
the some of the bigger shows don't have it, and it's unfortunate. You know, I have a respect for everybody that gets on stage and does their
Sure.
thing, and it takes a lot in every division. You know, you do what you do what you love, and it's unfortunate that you know that they're not in every event. You know,
I think you should do what you love. I don't think somebody should provide you with a venue to espouse it. So if you want to be, a quadriplegic, tongue wrestler, great, do it. Find people to do it with you. But that doesn't mean the NPC has to put on a division for you. There's no guarantee that what you pursue is going to avail you to a venue to espouse it. You got to do it because you love it. Period. And if somebody decides to, hey, this looks like a good division to put on, then that's gold for you. But it shouldn't be the driver. The driver should be your desire to do it,
Oh,
not your desire to be on stage.
but on the promotion side of it, though, isn't it about who's going to show up and pay the money? Like Frank's saying, if you're in the at a smaller show and they have all these divisions and one or two people show up, but nobody's not enough people are buying tickets or coming in to support it. That's what is that what you mean by making hard decisions about what you offer and what you don't?
it's unfortunate because Sarah, the Olympia four-time women's physique Olympia champion, is. If I had to choose one level of conditioning, if I had a choice to look, that woman is incredible.
Yep,
Her conditioning is second to none. You
insane.
know, it is insane. But I guess I don't know. Like, not all pro shows have every division. They they choose what they want to choose or they're mandated. I don't know, but not a lot of them have. Women's physique, women's bodybuilding. That's why Jake Wood has the Wings of Strength, Rising Phoenix, and some of
Hmm.
the bigger shows for women's bodybuilding, women's physique, and stuff. So
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, he didn't. Wasn't that started because they discontinued the women's
bodybuilding.
division? Yeah,
Yep,
women's
yep, yep.
bodybuilding.
Women's bodybuilding. Yep.
And so, like when that happened, okay, so the Arnold doesn't carry it, and then the Olympia stopped doing it. Does that just mean that there was really like no, I don't even know what the nowhere to go with it, or were they still putting on shows? Are there still places to compete?
Yeah, I believe there's still places to compete, but the Wings
Okay,
of Strength
right.
has all the divisions for women. But I don't know. Offhand, I know
Just
that
curious.
yeah, I don't know. Like you
I,
have to
I,
go to ifbbproleague.com. It has a complete list of all the shows. There's so many shows. I don't know international. That like you have
yeah.
to take a look. I'm sure there's a ton for women's physique and other divisions, but I just don't. I don't know
I
offhand.
think from the promoter's standpoint, I used the term greedy before, and I want to take that back. It's I don't think it's greed. I think it's just a natural inclination for a business person to grow their company and get bigger and more successful. And that's the American dream. I don't want to shit on that. But you also have to pay attention to the population that you're servicing, both the competitors and the audience. So I think it's a challenge then for a good promoter to
Yeah.
decide what divisions to put on, how long to, how to stagger them so that you're not torturing the people in the audience, and how many days you're going to spread it out over. And if you do that fairly and you do it equitably and you do it in such a way that it's still cost effective, I think that's a great thing. And then if you're a promoter and you are able to do that, congratulations, you won. That's a great thing to do. But if you're a promoter that just wants to shove as many people through the door as you possibly can because they're paying $150 a pop, that's just wrong. And
If if I own a donut shop in Manhattan and I have 11 sleeves for donuts and they're packed, everyone's coming in and buying those donuts. And now I have this 12th flavor to attract all the people that just walk by my store. Now, I'm either going to take 6 out of the sleeve and put a 12th in there, but I'm going to try to attract the people that walk by my place on a daily basis and try to get their business. I'm going to jam that in there because I'm a business person and I'm going to try to put that in there. And I'm going to try to make as much money as I can for as long as I can. So, like, there's a will and there's a way. I mean, it has to be scheduled. It has to be done the right way. They know what they're doing. They have the natural division. Maybe it's part of that, and they have the days where shows that pro qualifiers are on separate days. And who knows? But there's a solution. It's the same way for these shows running long. There's a solution.
yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
So it's just a matter of how they do it.
Well, there's a absolutely there's a solution. The problem is going to be when the solution costs more money than they make. That's the problem. So it's
It's
like
business.
in your
Yeah.
donut shop example, if you have 12 sleeves and now you want to put in 14, either something's got to go, or you got to expand the store, or you got to decide maybe these other two flavors that I had here for 6 years aren't selling that good. I'm just going to shit can them and then put the new ones in. So
Yeah.
you as a business person, it's not just the amount of money you make; it's the cost of making the money. So
But
I'm
don't you
not
have to
going to spend.
try? Like desktop bodybuilding just says, what if people are already buying donuts or turned off by the new donut? But you won't know unless you try it, right? I mean, I get what he's saying.
Well,
Like
you're
if
not
you
gonna.
add,
Yeah. Who the hell likes every
Un-
flavor?
right?
unless
So,
unless you add jalapeno strawberry mustard donut, I could pretty much tell you that's not going to sell. So don't bother. So it's
right.
like
They're,
adding a
they're, they're
division.
gonna
It's
have
like,
they're gonna have no problem uh, getting people to compete in this new division.
No, I don't think
Not
so
one
either.
problem at all.
No,
Not one
because
problem.
I
And
think the problem is going to be there's going to be too many people wanting to compete in this division, and that's what's
well,
going to poison the pond.
look, the NPC Long Island, it's open to other divisions, right? But people don't show up.
right.
Not everybody shows up. So you got women's bodybuilding and women's physique. It's a handful of people. Certain shows, women's fitness. I don't think we had one competitor.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is gonna fill. It's not like every show is gonna be packed. I understand what you're saying for the bigger shows, but it's definitely. Look, if I was going to see a show, if a friend compete in a show, I'm not sitting through the whole show. No way.
Right. No.
I'm like, what time? I'll find out what time of the events. I'll be at the bar with Zack, and then I'll come out and go, yo, we got to see, Joe's competing at 12. All right, let's get in there at 12, and let's get in. We're gonna be pissed that we have to sit through all the other routines.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Right.
true.
Exactly.
We just want to
Exactly.
see We just want to see Joe do his thing.
Come on,
So
Joe.
you never get,
We're pulling for
and then
you.
we're leaving, and then they're gonna
But
resell our seats. It's just
but now that is a great idea. You
Yes.
just solved the problem. That's what they got to do. They got to sell multiple tickets for the same event. So if you want to go to the and you want to go and you just want to see women's physique, you know that
Sean.
women's physique is going to be on from 9 in the morning till 10. I'm going to pay 10.
You're
I'm going to
killing
pay
me. That's how the universe works.
Yeah, but no,
That's
you
how it
sell the
works.
no, you're not listening to me. You sell a separate ticket. So I'm
Yes.
instead of selling tickets to the whole show, I'm just going to sell tickets to women's physique. They do that
Yes.
now? When
Yeah,
did
they
they start
sell it.
doing that?
They do it by the day. So they do it by the day for that. That's exactly what they do it
No,
for the
but
day. So it's
but
no, it's women's physique and say women's figure on day one. They sell the ticket for that. Day 2 is men's physique and bikini. Sell the ticket for that. Day 3 is
When did they
classic
start
physique and
doing
bodybuilding.
that? When did they start doing that?
3
Because that's
years
a good idea.
around COVID because of the theaters. Because the theaters at COVID, you know, they had it for a limited time, so I think they were doing prejudging. But the shows are monsters now. I mean, there's going to
Yeah.
be. I remember Phil Heath did a show, probably 2016, 17. There was 1,000 competitors in a show on a national qualifier. Then you're in trouble. You're in trouble with the extra divisions. It froze.
Say that again. You
You
cut
know,
out.
I said Phil Heath had 1,000 people on his show one year. It was like maybe 10 years ago. Then you're going to run into problems because you can't
right.
do that in one
Right.
day. It's
No.
impossible. So then I
No.
hear exactly what
No.
you're saying. Then you get up, and then I agree with you 1,000%, John. What you have to say, look, we have 1,200 people. The show's running from 7 in the morning to 3 in the morning. We're gonna have to cut some of these things out because our competitors are not having a good experience here. So we
No.
can't continue this, or we have to make it multiple days and what have you. So on that, yeah, but that's far and few between, I think, as far as that. But if that's the
Well,
case, then yeah, they're gonna have to do it.
I did not know that they started selling tickets to individual divisions. I think that's brilliant. So, and definitely a
Yes.
solution to the problem. But I think they should do it
Why do
for
I keep
every
losing?
single division. I don't know.
Frank got angry.
Yeah.
He's done.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what?
I'm not
I've explained
angry.
this. I've explained this to John 50 times. No, because your camera's off. I was just kidding. Like, your camera's off. There you go. Yeah.
I'm
It's
like-
I explained it
I'm
50
like, what the
times. I'm
fuck?
done. All right. Well, all right.
But
Total
what
left turn.
Frankie's
But
saying
No, I
is
got
all.
the-
But what Frankie's saying is all new. They didn't. This is all new. They just started doing this shit in the last couple of years because I've been dealing with, you know, as a journalist in this industry, I've been dealing with this for decades. That you got to go cover a show, and you ever see
Yeah.
you know, our industry guys at the end of one of those shows at 3:00 in the morning when it's all finally over, we look like we walked across the Sahara Desert in flip flops. I mean, takes everything
I did
out
it
of
for-
you. You're spent.
I did it for 10 years for NPC News Online. JM and I were the last people walking out of the theater at every show because we had to
Yeah.
get every single winner, every video up, all the pictures. Like we were the last people walking out of the event. So yeah, man. And sometimes you started at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you're out at 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then they started adding all the days. I remember with the magazines, it was tough. Too, the print people
was.
too, like the USA always ended relatively early,
Yeah,
but
that
for
was
some
always
reason.
running really well.
But yeah,
All
but
right.
I see what you're saying.
total change of topic here. But this is for Frank.
Yes.
From Jake Potts. Jake, I finally got to it.
Mhm.
What was the meal plan Frank Seppi wrote for Muscle Mag International back in the day? It was like meal 1, 6 egg whites and 1 half cup of oats. Do you remember the meal plan you wrote, Frank? I don't even know what year this was, but it's got to be what, early
So
mid 2000s?
I wrote 144 columns for Muscle Mag back
So you
in the
probably
day.
remember. So you
yeah,
probably remember
12
this
years,
one. This specific one.
144. Yeah. So I had a couple of different ones, and the one that we sold for metrics was morning 6 egg whites, 1 cup of oatmeal. Meal 2, metrics. The original metrics formula mixed with water. With some fiber. Fiber cap. Meal 3, 8 ounce of chicken breast. Rice and broccoli. Meal 4, metrics.
Yeah.
Meal 5,
Yeah.
lean steak, yam, and Brussels sprouts. Snack. Snack. Rice cake with avocado. and water. I mean, there was a ton of different ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny though. But
Right, John? That's how they went. There's
Yep.
no
I wrote a couple hundred of them myself over the course.
That's right.
Yeah.
and what you just
You're
sub the different brands in? It's like if maybe you got a different brand from Metrics, it's
Yeah,
like
I
you just-
actually wrote a whole cookbook for a product that Twin Lab made Supro, the soy
Hmm.
protein that you could cook with.
Yep.
I wrote a whole cookbook for that. You know,
I wrote Shaping Everybody. It's a 120-page metrics book I wrote. It's out. It was out. It had everything from your protein. It was basically, it was a all-encompassing how to get in shape book while using metrics products to achieve that goal. But it was like 120 pages. I remember writing it, and it was, yeah, it was good. Shaping Everybody, and then there's different diets for different people. So if you're an ectomorph, a
right?
mesomorph, an endomorph,
Yeah.
whatever, you know. But it was very simple back in the day. Like you'd
Yeah.
pay these gurus for these diets, and they're like, "All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you 10 egg whites, half a cup of oatmeal dry, put a fingertip of peanut butter in it, right? Then we're not gonna do shakes. So our next thing is a lean protein. We're gonna do orange roughy, right? Orange roughy with asparagus.
Uh,
Because we're not gonna do our vegetable carb that day. We're not gonna do our regular carb. We're gonna save that for meal 3. And that's when we're gonna do we're gonna do 6 ounces of rice, brown rice. Don't use white rice. And then and we're gonna mix in the hot sauce until we're 8 weeks out. It's like, I mean, John, how many of those fucking things have you written?
I remember you brought up Orange Roughy. Orange Roughy used to be the leanest, cheapest fish. Now it's not.
Yeah.
But do you remember the oil farts you used to get from
You
Orange
shit
Roughy?
diamonds, bro. You shit diamond oil.
It was this greasy, oily secretion. It was fucking horrible. You know,
Yeah.
it
I,
would
I
run down
remember
your
when I
leg.
was
I mean, it was freaking awful.
I remember training for my first show at Gold's Gym Limbrook. And I'm training, and I started as like, I competed at my first show at 240. So I'm there, and I had orange roughy, a pound of orange roughy, and I had a hot 7-Eleven coffee, right, with ephedrine, right? You take your ephedrine, right? And my stomach is gurgling, and I'm farting up a storm, and these two poor guys that are training, they're like, they just feeling the wrath of like of my of my gas, and like they're smaller guys, and I'm this big guy. I'm like 260, 270 at the time, and they finally had enough. They go, Jesus Christ, will you take a shit already? And my stomach, I almost broke a rib from laughing so much because I was like, oh my God, they're right. But John is 100% right. That was a gastric
And
mess, man.
but
That
the
fish.
oil that came out, there was this
Oh, dude.
undigestible
Oh.
oil that was in the fish, and it
Oh.
just came out of your ass whether you wanted it to or not. I mean, you're eating
Oh.
4 meals a day of orange roughy. That's all you're eating.
Oh.
It's
That's
like an oil slick, right? It's the same thing
oh,
as
it's
an oil slick
horrible.
after a rainstorm.
It was
It was
horrible,
so
and
bad.
and and you couldn't control it. It just would leak out. I mean, it was like unbelievable. It was the worst thing in the entire world. It
That's
And
was
before a show you'd cut out all your protein as far as drinks and stuff like that, and you cut chicken. You'd probably most of your diet is fish, so you're eating like 4 or 5 meals of orange roughy. It was and
oh.
asparagus, which was another
oh
one. It's like,
god.
oh man,
Oh
Oh.
gosh.
ugh,
Oh my
the things
ugh.
god.
we the things we used to eat in the name of this sport. I mean, I was talking to Max my son the other day. He goes, "Well, I'm eating a lot of tuna and rice." I go, get used to
Oh,
it, dude. We used to make the pancake, the egg white tuna fish rice pancake, oatmeal pancake. You know, we used to, it was horrible, but it was cheap. You could eat it. You had to get the
that's one thing.
calories in.
All that. I can't even eat tuna fish anymore,
Me
man. I
neither.
used to
Me
eat.
neither.
Oh, I can't even
Egg.
look at it. Oh, I just
I
so
can't
Sam
eat
Sulek
eggs
getting
either.
Oh
chicken in a
man.
can.
I can eat eggs, but yeah, even before I
Oh,
stopped eating meat, I used to eat it straight out of a can. And what I used I would just squirt mustard in it because it would give it some different flavor
Yeah,
for me. That's what I would do. And
yeah.
I would just eat that all the time. And it was easy, it was quick, it had protein. So But then it just got to the point, same thing, man. I would smell it and it'd just be turned off. My stomach would flip.
Sam Sulek's eating chicken in a can. I just saw his video lately. He was training with Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler was training him or something. But he's buying big cans of chicken. I'm like, I've never done that. I always eat tuna fish, but I was like, wow.
Man.
Yeah,
He's like, it's too easy, right?
It doesn't taste very good, but yeah, they do it. They have it.
Oh my God, I can't.
I
The
couldn't.
thing,
do it.
the really fucked up thing is that as a bodybuilder, you have to eat a bunch of food. You've got to eat all the time. And then when you look at the meal you got to eat, you don't want to eat it. I do not
No.
want to eat yet another meal of tuna and rice. I don't want to, but you have to. So
That's the thing, bro. You could sit there and eat. You're on your 5th meal or 6th meal, and you have to eat egg whites and oatmeal and stuff. You could eat 24 donuts, but you'll be like dragging this food down. I'm serious, man. You just be like, oh God, I got to eat this thing. I have no appetite. But if someone put a chocolate cake in front of you, devour it.
you rip it apart. Yep.
All right, look, we've gone on for an hour and 10. This is solid. Wow. Thank you, everybody, for all of your comments. And look, thanks, Nico, for tossing that question out there. That was, that took out a bunch of took up a bunch of time, but so that was good.
It sparked good debate.
I don't know if we'll be back to what's Tuesday? Is Tuesday Christmas Eve or what is Tuesday?
Oh, is it? Is it really? Oh,
I think it's Christmas Eve, Tuesday.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not sure if we'll be what we're doing if we'll be back on Tuesday, but
I think we should do it.
Let me. I just don't know what we're. Let me see what we got going on.
All right.
Because my kids have a half day on Monday. I could probably sneak out though, but we'll see. We'll talk about it. But thanks everybody. We'll.